All right, you guys ready? I just want to do a quick video to talk about the fact that the El Toro stair set, which is at El Toro High, has finally been removed, and this is pretty cataclysmic for the BMX and skate communities, and I guess also the scooter world now, because this has been pretty much the place where you've seen progression taking place in terms of stuff that could be done down drops, down handrails for a huge amount of time. I believe that I first became aware of El Toro in about 1999 because there was a BMX DVD called Nowhere Fast, and I believe that Josh Harrington, excuse me. Who am I thinking of? Josh Hino. There you go. Josh Hino did like the overgrind and the ice pick. And there used to be a rail in the middle of the stairs, as you guys can see here. Actually, let's just get a little bit of a better vantage point. That's what it looked like before it got ripped out of the ground. But as you can see right here, they just turned it into a giant pile of sand. And I guess the word on the streets is that they are turning it into another set of stairs, but it's going to be a double set. It's going to be longer. It's not going to be quite as steep. It's going to have, stuff at the top and the bottom that are going to basically make sure that nobody's able to have any more fun or do any more tricks on this thing. And if you think about it, I mean, this has been a long time coming because people have been going to this stair set for about 30 years. It's arguably the most famous skate/BMX spot in the world. I can't think of that many other spots that you would really put in the same sentence as El Toro. Maybe the Brooklyn Banks kind of stands out to me in terms of just being like an iconic, famous spot. But think about the fact that the Birdhouse team drove the van down it. How long ago was that? Probably 20 years ago. The fact that this spot has gone this long, especially given that it is in the middle of a school, is really incredible. But the fact that it's gone, really not that surprising because, how could a school really let people risk life and limb over all these years? They're so obviously complicit. If you go to El Toro, this is why it's smart that they did this. If I was a person who worked for the city and I knew that there were all kinds of kids going to this spot, risking life and limb, and you know about it, the school knows about it, the people who work for the city, they know about it. Like, there's a video that is on my other channel, the Come Up BMX channel, in which some comrades of mine went to the spot, and they're talking to all the faculty and everything, and it's so obvious that the faculty knows how significant this spot is, but they obviously, individually weren't really in the position to do anything about it. It was only a matter of time until this happened. And as you can see here, anybody who's been to El Toro knows that there's basically two identical stair sets, slightly different, but basically exactly the same. This is the one that people always ride. But the other one right over there, they were saying that they're doing the same exact thing to that too. So yeah, and there used to be a rail in the middle of El Toro, and when they took that out, that's when things really started to go crazy down the stairs. Just because there was a little bit more space and made it a little bit more obvious. The side rails have always been good, and from a BMX perspective, you've always been able to grind up it, which obviously is insane. You have to go outrageously fast, and I don't think anybody ever did anything better than Garrett Reynolds when he did the up rail to hard 180 bar, because let's face it, who the hell wants to grind up the steepest 20 stair in the world? I think it's so low at the bottom that I think when I went there, I jumped onto it to grind up it just as a little joke. And I grinded like 2 inches because it's steep as hell. And if I were to have grinded up it, I probably would have had to go about 800 times faster and probably would have clipped a peg and probably would have died. Anyway, this is my personal relationship to El Toro that I want to talk about, just to sort of contextualize how significant this stair set is. Obviously, there's more important tales to be told about El Toro. If you type, like, just for example, I typed in El Toro BMX. You got so much legendary stuff. This Hallowed Ground series that Dig did, this has like a full breakdown. There might be a couple of technical discrepancies in there, but it's basically a full breakdown of everything that has ever gone down on this thing. But I mean, look, there's like so much legendary stuff that's happened that even, do you remember this? Can you tell what this is just from the thumbnail? I'm not going to play it because I don't want to get in trouble. But kid Juice, 16-year-old kid, he went to El Toro and he tail whipped it with almost the entire stair set being covered up by an old lady in a golf cart. And he actually had to get into the golf cart and move the golf cart against her wishes. She was screaming, but he did it. And look, like right here. This is how crazy El Toro has become, is that you got another 16-year-old kid who tried to 180 bar spin it. Tried, smacked his head on the ground. People are calling me. It's not gonna work. I'm not picking up. This is clickbait. First girl ever attempts El Toro on a BMX bike. Well, actually, I guess it's not clickbait because that you can see what happens right there. She just rides down it. Actually, was that her? Yeah, well, she just rode down it. She didn't do anything, actually, down it. But, yeah, I just want to talk about the things, the moments of progression that I was actually at El Toro for. So this video right here, OSS football, on some shit, typically known as OSS these days. But my boy Rory Ellis from Billerica, Massachusetts, he went to El Toro with me. I flew him out there. This was a very big expense to me at the time to spend $300 on a plane ticket for this guy. But he said he wanted to barspin El Toro, and this is when On Some Shit was first becoming a company. And I said, all right, cool, let's do it. The whole time we were in California for like nearly a week before he did this, and the whole time we were sort of dreading it, just wondering when are we going to actually go to El Toro and what's it going to be like. And we finally went, and I guess I'll just show you guys the clip of what it looked like when this guy threw the bar spin down. Ooh, you see that? Let's just rewind so you can really get a glimpse of how hard he hits the ground here. Watch the way his front wheel goes up a little bit. I recall this scenario. That was actually the first time that anybody ever did a jumping trick down El Toro on a BMX bike. Skateboarding trick, I don't know if anybody actually did like a kickflip down or anything before that either, because this was kind of like the new era of El Toro being something that you could just go straight down, because typically people were more interested in that rail in the middle. But anyway, yeah, we went there. Rory jumped down it and his foot slipped off. Then he jumped it again and he rode away. Then he did the bar spin, foot slipped off, and then he did the bar spin again, rode away. And it was incredibly exhilarating, and we sat on the footage for some time and we tried to keep it low key, but yeah, it was pretty shocking. Just to see it in real life was so mind-blowing, because I had seen it in so many videos preceding that I don't know, it was unbelievable to roll up on it. And then about 5 years later, I went to El Toro again with my boy Stevie Churchill, and keep in mind that Rory did the bar spin. So then I went there with Stevie one morning, and he proceeded to do the 360 bar spin, as you can see here. Non-stop BMX progression. Look at the look on his face. Ooh. But yeah, that was pretty crazy, just to have two different East Coast biker boys that I was working with at the time just both make their mark on it. And in both cases, I was there filming, and I don't know. That Stevie one was insane, because the night before, he had been drunk as hell, and we were just having a conversation, and he was like, I really want to go there to El Toro. I knew he wanted to do that because he had been there one time before where he just 360'd it, and I went there with it. I told him, I'm like, you should definitely do the 360 bar. You got it. Like, he was riding at such a ridiculous level at that point, and it was just so obvious that he could do it. So I was encouraging him to do it, and the next morning, we were all getting ready to go ride, and nobody had any idea where they wanted to go ride. And I was just like, I got a good school. Let's go. We all get in the car, drive like 45 minutes, finally pull up at El Toro, and I just see it in Stevie's eyes that he's like, oh, man. Because that was the moment that he realized, like, he was going to have to actually do this. Not that he was going to have to, but that, he really basically didn't have any reason not to go for it. So he gets up there at the top of the stairs, and he said the same thing that I've heard a bunch of people say about it, is that when you go to it, it just seems so small because it didn't feel like a real 20 stair in comparison to what the average 20 stair would feel like. When you actually take a look at the stairs, they're just tiny little stairs, to the point where what is really a 20 stair kind of feels maybe more like a 17. Now, I say this as someone who's definitely not jumping down no damn 17 stair, but just to put it in perspective, it was just the perfect 20 stair. I don't think I've ever seen a 20 stair or anything even close that was as perfect. And that is to ignore the rail, which obviously was its own thing. So anyway, this is the end of that story, though. And if you see right here, BMX, Stevie Churchill, and Ray Began, this was like the first podcast I ever did. It's just like a little 10-minute thing where I talked to Stevie and Began about this day. But anyway, like, a lot of people have seen this clip, what happened after Stevie did that clip. Because as soon as Stevie really started to feel it out and it started to become apparent that he was going to do the truck driver down the stairs, Brandon Began was like, if you do it, I'll go for the half cab. And so then Stevie does the truck, And Stevie then tells Brandon, this is why this clip is so bad. Stevie tells Brandon, if you half cab it, I'm going to go right after you and I'm going to 360 tail whip down it. And so Brandon was so powered up from the fact that he just saw Stevie do the 360 bar spin, and then also powered up from the fact that he knew that if he did this half cab, that Stevie was going to go behind him. And, I mean, what was the biggest set of stairs that had ever been 360 whipped at this point? Maybe a 10 stair. It would be my guess. And I don't think that there's that many. I think I've maybe seen Stevie do a 360 whip on like a 12 stair maybe. I don't know. But either way, it's like, let's just watch it. Watch Brandon. Watch Brandon try this half cab. Ooh. You can see me right here. Believe it or not, this was a really upsetting thing to witness. And even though now it just sort of stands out, I don't know why I was watching this shitty 86,000 view version, this bootleg copy. But at the time, it didn't really seem that funny. At the time, it was horrifying. We were like, almost, I don't know. I guess I almost felt like embarrassed that it happened on my watch because it just seemed so ridiculous. Like, how did this scenario happen? But Brandon was fine, to be fair. I mean, he didn't even go to the hospital, and he's been fine. Yeah, somebody should definitely do some more comprehensive stuff about skateboarding, because I feel like the skateboard history of El Toro is probably even more immense than the BMX version. Although, to be fair, I mean, the BMX ability to get stuff done on El Toro was probably even easier than a skateboard world. It's like a little bit more bike size, you know, you can do a bike trick down it and like roll away, whereas doing a skateboard trick down El Toro is just absurd, baffling to witness. Anyway, this is my friend Dylan Stark, and his Instagram is whoisdylan, and he rides mountain bikes as well as BMX bikes, and he's ridiculously good at both. And he went to El Toro the day after they put in the sand instead of the stairs, and he got up on the roof on his mountain bike and proceeded to do this. Look at how tall that is. Honestly, his suspension was going... look at the GoPro angle. His suspension was going so crazy the whole time that it really makes me wonder if he would have been able to do that on a BMX bike, or if the suspension was necessary. Also, this is Brandon Began. Anybody watch this, appreciate you. Drop a like, drop a comment. We'll be back real soon. I know this isn't hip-hop related, but, you know, I thought it was interesting. Appreciate y'all.